What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sarkis Unlocked. Today, we have Pierre Matta from Newton Kitchen Designs on the show, and he's going to talk to us about what's happening in the luxury design space when it comes to kitchens, bathrooms, and all custom renovations. Stay tuned. Pierre, welcome to Sarkis Unlocked. Thank you very much for being on the show and for having us in your sanctuary. This is an unbelievable office. I might need to take this with me when I go.
Thank you.
Of course.
Dude, I'm so appreciative of this, and I can't wait to, keep this going with you guys.
It's honestly, it's been a long time coming. We met about 4 years ago. I had a client of mine who was selling their home, and I asked him who did the kitchens, who did the bathroom, and their primary bathroom was beyond impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they said, you did it, Newton Kitchen and Design. And I said, can you please put me in contact with them? He gave me your number. I called you. No agenda, no business to be had. Yep. You simply wanted to help a past client sell their house.
Right.
And you came in and you explained everything. I think I needed to chat GPT a lot of it because it was very high level, sophisticated. I was like, oh, what's this? What's the big deal with that? And I was impressed. We kind of stayed in touch after that, and you've done some work for me personally at my house, which
I have. That was amazing. Good experience.
Which my wife is very, very happy with me because of that. So thank you.
That's awesome.
And yeah, listen, you're seeing different projects, different kitchens, I'm in homes, but I'm looking at everything in a home.
Right.
I'm looking at the outside. I'm looking at the values, the architecture, the design on the outside and the inside, price per foot, all that. You're simply focusing on the craftsmanship. You're focusing on the design. And one thing that I know you've done is you continue to stay with the trends. You're not in the blockbuster model, I always say, where it's like, this is how Newton Kitchen Designs does it. This is the only way we're going to do it, and we're going to stick this way. You have pivoted. You have become innovative.
Yes.
And you have continued to absorb everything you see, whether it's you're traveling. I know you're going to Italy this summer, and you've been all around the world. You've traveled. You've seen design. And we're in a world now where we have something called Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see really cool things and just continue to get ideas.
Right.
So you can spot cheap craftsmanship instantly. Today, I want to dive in to learn about your story and really understand what it takes to build a luxury, high-end brand and what the design trends are and what are completely dead.
Yeah.
And then just get to know you because I know you believe in we want to work with good people, and sometimes
100%.
It's very difficult for someone to actually know who it is that they're working with.
Right.
We get lost in the shuffle of business and numbers and figures and negotiating, but I think you're a great guy, or else I wouldn't be here.
Thank you.
And
I feel the same about you.
And I'm blessed to have crossed paths with you, and this is just the beginning. So
that's awesome.
And why we vibe, I'll start right from the gate, is we're both Lebanese.
We are.
And it's a breeze being Lebanese. It's a breeze being Lebanese.
So true.
You were born in Lebanon.
Yes.
The second greatest country in the world, first to some, but top two and without a question. Born in Lebanon, moved to the U.S. when you were just 7 years old.
Right, 1978. Actually came here at the blizzard of 78, like 1 month before it.
And you didn't want to go back right away?
And I was like, what the heck is this?
So you got here in the blizzard of 78, coming from Lebanon.
Man.
They don't see blizzards like that.
Not like that.
No. You're 7 years old. And tell me about what that was like coming here at 7 years old, from what you can remember, your background, your childhood, and all that.
So I grew up in Lebanon. Half of my mom's side of the family lived down in, near Beirut. So it was more metropolitan and, kind of modern for that time. But we lived in where the nuns lived. It was like a convent for them. And my parents' family, had a place in there. But my dad's family was from in the mountains, from Dayr al-Ahmar. which is very rural farming. And so when we lived there for part of the time, like our house, I remember this.
Did you live there in the summertime when it was really hot? Or?
Yeah, when it was warm, and and then in the summer, in the winter we'd actually go down to Juni. But I remember sleeping on the roof of our house because it was like built into a mountain, and at the time we had dirt floors in there. So, bro, like coming here to the United States and seeing like all of this new stuff was like mind blowing, right? And so my dad brought us here. So let me back up a little. My mom got married to my dad when she was 14. Had me when she was 15.
Wow.
Right?
That
Crazy.
used to happen a lot back then.
It was very common in
Very
Lebanon.
common,
Very,
very
very common. And then they moved us, here. My aunt, who lived here, sponsored my dad to come and bring his family. And he did that. So coming here, growing up, it was life-changing, obviously. But the crazy thing is, and kind of what drives me to what I do now, is that I saw my dad not have anything. He was illiterate, didn't go to school, spoke broken English, couldn't read or write English, right? Provided for his family, brought them to America, built a business here, right? A pretty, good business, being a mechanic and auto body shop. And I looked at that as like, man, if my dad could do it, and I can read and write and go to school and have those things, then I could do anything I want. And that,
So it was survival for them.
right.
I always look at it back. I look back and I'm just like, my dad, similar story, came here, was one of the only Lebanese people that decided to not get in the mechanic gas station business. My dad went to school for engineering at Northeastern.
Yeah.
My mother and him came here. We lived in Rosendale in a small apartment. All of us lived together, very tight. And my dad then worked 3 jobs, went through college, and then started a cafe called Sabone. He was in the Dedham Mall, the Atrium Mall downstairs, where the Lids hat store used to be. He's called Sabone. Was in the Dedham Mall as well, next to Bradley's. And he then opened up in Harvard Square, and he was in the food business. And man, he grinded. I mean, he came from Lebanon, and that's a similar genetic,
Right.
situation where both of us, our families had no choice. They
Right.
came here, they were survival. Not to mention, survival was in Lebanon, man. Like before you came in 78, 70s were no joke in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, it was survival.
Yeah.
But not for business, not for success. It was for your life.
For life. Oh, yeah.
For life. Make sure you still had a roof over your head. And I think that's, what Lebanese people have that some people just, you can't give it to them.
You can't
learn
it.
You can't learn it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you being Lebanese has shaped you to have the work ethic you have?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Seeing my dad, seeing my mom, how hard they worked for the family, and not being from America, right? And having a lot of privileges that you just grow up with here, automatically, just having that and seeing what you could do here shaped, I think, where I am today. If I didn't have that, and if I was still in Lebanon, I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? Not sure I'd even be alive.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
But yes, it's totally shaped my work ethic.
That and the culture of a family, like a family, and you being in a household.
Right, working for the family, doing things for the family. Like, bro, I had a job at like 14 years old.
Same here, bro.
Right, paper route, anything I could do, cutting grass. I was like determined to make money, and I would give some to my mother and my dad, just to help out, like in the family. It's like we worked as a unit.
That's what it is.
I
used to sell gym memberships when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I worked at CVS. I even taught archery in the summertime in the summer at a camp.
Wow.
Shocked that everyone got out alive, because I was definitely not suited to do that. But I did it because I just wanted to continue to grind and find another job. So that's your background. You grew up here, obviously, from 7 on. You were in a family business. You started to, obviously, you had the privilege of learning English.
Right.
I'm assuming your parents ended up learning English as time passed, not as much. I mean,
My mom did.
Your
My
mom
my
did.
dad didn't.
Your
My
dad
dad
did it.
was old school,
Old
man.
school.
Yeah, he spoke half English, half Arabic.
and you can't change
You
it.
know?
Like at
No.
that point, like they did what they did,
Yep.
and they did what they could.
Right.
They were in, once again, survival, and they had it much harder than we had it, without
yeah.
without a question. So your first job that you
Yes.
had in the contracting field, in the construction field, obviously you helped your dad in his mechanic shop, in his garage. You had a paper route.
Yep.
You did whatever you had to do at a young age to make money. But what was the first real job you had when it came to construction and design or anything of this world?
So I worked for a company after college. I worked for a company that did commercial building, and they did a lot of downtown pharmaceutical companies. And so that's kind of where I first got my start in this. And I remember the CFO of the company had a project at his house, and my boss asked me at the time, he's like, "Hey, do you know how to do a set of stairs?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem," right? Bro, never did a set of stairs in my life. So I went, I got a book.
How old are you at this time?
I was like 20, 22, 21, 22. And I said, yeah, I can build a set of stairs, no problem. So I went, I got a book at the library.
ChatGPT didn't exist.
No chat GPT.
You couldn't even
nothing.
Google anything,
No
probably.
videos. There was nothing. I don't even think I had a computer then, right? So I went, I got a book. I looked at it. I read it. I was like, yeah, I can do this. Go to the job. I end up spending like a month and a half doing this like very intricate staircase for this client. And then I
At a
finished
single family residence.
single family residence. My boss put me there at the time. He said, I want you to do this. Like I said, I ended up finishing it. It came out great. I loved it. Like I fell in love with like woodworking, working with my hands. And then after the client says,
You know how to use a saw back then?
oh yeah, I knew how to use a saw because growing up, like going through high school, I did wood shop and learned how to work with tools and stuff.
Where'd you go to high school?
Brockton High.
Brockton
Yeah,
High.
I grew up in Brockton.
Do you know that the #1 overall pick in the NBA yesterday was from Brockton?
From Brockton? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, went to BYU, but the #1 NBA draft pick yesterday. So shout out to Brockton.
Oh my God.
Brockton.
So ton of athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Brockton.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me tell you. Yeah. And
The
scary.
Nasrallas are got a big Lebanese name.
Nasrallas.
And they own a lot in Brockton.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
Yep.
our families are very good friends.
Yeah.
So I finished this job, and then the client comes to me and she says, wow, you did an amazing job for us, and you didn't mess up one baluster. We were afraid like something was going to go wrong. And I said, why? She goes, well, we spent over $100,000 on these parts. Now, bro, I'm going back 30 years ago. 100 grand for stair parts was like a lot of money. If they'd have told me that before, I would have been so nervous. You know what I mean? But they said it to me after, and then I built a bookcase for them, and then I did like a little built-in, and I did a fireplace mantle, and then maybe a year after that, I told my boss, I said, listen, I'm going to give you 2-year notice. I'm going to be leaving and going on my own. And I did. I gave him a 2-year notice, and
2-year notice.
2 years.
We usually
Yeah.
give 2 weeks.
I know. Yeah, that's
loyalty right there.
loyalty.
Brother.
Yeah, I mean, they treated
And
me
you were
very
still doing
well.
stuff on the side, though, while you were there.
I was doing projects on the side on weekends, nights. I was making more money on the weekends than I did all week, but I stayed with them because one of the other owners kind of took me under his wing. He taught me all kinds of stuff, like electrical work. He taught me framing, hardware, panic hardware, how to do drywall, plaster. Like I did almost every trade, right? Because I wanted to learn. And then
Because it all coincides with what you're doing today, even today. Like it all has to do with
it does. Like, okay, designing a kitchen, you would say, well, what's that have to do with drywall and plaster and framing? And it has everything
I
to
know
do
that
with
now.
it, right?
Yeah.
So our client actually gets a better end result with me having a lot of knowledge about pre-construction and construction to give them a finished product, you know?
So you do that, right? So
Yes.
you get into that, you give your 2 years,
Yeah.
you go off on your own.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, you're doing these side jobs, bookcases, custom built-ins. You did a staircase. What was the
doors,
next move after the 2 years?
So I went on my own. I was all excited. I had
Construction.
construction, doing renovations, right? I had 2 months of work lined up. And at the time, I'm like 22, going on 23, whatever. And I'm like, this is awesome. I have 2 months worth of work. I finished the 2 months of work. And to my wife at the time, I was like, oh shit, I just finished all the jobs. What are we going to do now? And then all of a sudden it was like, I didn't have a business card. I didn't have anything. It was just like, I'm going to go out on my own. And then, I actually, fortunately, hooked up with a designer out of Newton who had a client in Chestnut Hill in Brookline, and they needed a job done. It was like a little bathroom renovation. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it.
At this point, you weren't anywhere where you are today.
Nowhere. I just tinkered around.
You didn't even probably know what onyx was back then.
I had no idea what onyx was.
You didn't know the difference between quartzite and quartz and marble and porcelain. You were just
none
doing...
of it. I knew granite.
Granite was hot back then.
It was hot, right? And I knew like oak and walnut, right? And that was it. And I knew how to build something, but I was determined to learn more and more
Were they doing
about
pink and blue bathrooms back then or no?
I was actually taking those out.
You were taking those out.
We were going to the next step, But I remember I did this project for this client, and it went really well. And then for the next 5 years, I worked at this client's place. And then he would refer me to one customer.
In Chestnut Hill still.
In Chestnut Hill. And then I got one more client, and then I got one more. And they all had to do with the hospitals. They were either doctors for the hospital, or they were attorneys for the hospital.
All referrals.
All referrals. I had, like, again, no business cards. I just had a cell phone and an email. And that's what I did for 5 years between Chestnut Hill, Brookline, and Newton for these 5 clients. They kept me busy.
They kept you busy.
Yep.
What was your company called?
Pierre Matta Construction.
Pierre Matta Construction.
It doesn't get any easier. Pierre Matta.
Matta.
Pierre Matta Construction.
Matta Construction. That's so you crazy. So where we're at now is you started a company, you get asked to do a staircase, you start doing more for this one specific client.
Yep.
You realize you enjoy it, you love it, you taught yourself how to do it.
Right.
You were always good with your hands, with being innovative. You had a vision, and you knew how to work your ass off to execute, no matter what was in your way. Like you just, there was a problem, you solved it.
Yep.
You then realized you want to do this. So you gave 2 years, you started doing it on your own.
Right.
5 clients. Kept you busy. That one in Chestnut Hill that you clearly did something right for.
Yeah.
They were clearly happy, because we don't get referrals if our clients aren't happy.
Yep.
Now you did this construction, whatever it takes, mentality. When was the turning point for you to say, "This was great, but I really want to go from quantity to quality"?
Yeah.
I really want to be the guy, because it's all about the customer profile. Who's your preferred customer profile?
Right.
Because we can all say, for me, it's the same thing in my business. It's like, I'm not selling $300,000 condos, and I'm not selling multifamilies in Everett anymore. Now, I did that back in the day, just like you.
Yeah,
I did
you
it.
do what you have to do.
I had a $250,000 condo in Malden I was selling. I was doing rentals. I did whatever it takes. But then there was a time for me where I was like, I want to shift.
Yeah.
I want to go from quantity to quality.
So
I want to become more curated to what my client profile was, what I wanted to do, which was the high end. But I've also built a team out. We do everything, obviously. There's no business we don't say no to.
Right.
And for me, it's because I have a big team, very different than your business, obviously. And for me, I just would say, like, you know, the person buying that 300,000. I have clients now who have spent 10 million on a home, who I sold a $400,000 condo to 8 years ago.
That's
so
amazing.
It's like you grow with them.
Yeah.
Not to mention Jaylen Brown, for example. I rented him a house for $3,000 and he was a rookie.
Yeah.
And he's bought a lot of homes ever since. So you stay with them.
So you did something right. That's, you took care of your client.
You took care of your client, just like you, that first renovation in Chestnut Hill. I'm sure that client would, you know, could have redid a bathroom with you and a kitchen, and you could have, one of those 5 people, you would have went back and you've probably done their kitchen and bathrooms over 4 or 5 times.
We've done their entire house. We've done their vacation house over. Yeah.
So what was, like, what was the turning point, and when did you realize that you wanted to do this?
So I would say about 6 or 7 years after doing the construction, I started doing more cabinetry, opened a little woodworking shop, building myself, you know, and then I started making like furniture. And I said, you know, this is something that I truly enjoy. Like, I'm passionate about it, right? And I said, even if I don't make as much money, if I'm happy doing it and I see the reaction on my client's face when I make a piece for them, like, that joy was just so satisfying to me, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to start shifting my business a little bit more towards cabinets, furniture, built-ins. And so that's what ended up happening. It took me a while. It took, man, oh gosh, I would say probably a good 6-7 years to really get into more of that.
Into the high end.
Into the high end stuff. I mean, I was already in high end homes, but I didn't know it. Bro, I grew up in Brockton, right? We lived in an apartment.
You were born on a dirt. You were living in a dirt floor in Lebanon,
I was living in a dirt floor, right?
On a roof.
Right. I didn't realize what high end. I didn't realize what wealth was. Not being rich, but what wealth is, right? And then
it's tough to in Massachusetts, specifically in Greater Boston, because it's quiet.
It's quiet, and that people don't really show it. And when they have it, they're very quiet about it. So I learned a lot, right? But then these clients at some point were like, we're going to pay you whatever you ask us. I got to the point where my clients wouldn't even ask for a price anymore for the renovation. They would just say, when can you do it for us? We're going to leave you a check on the table. George, this is no lie. It's blank, and it's signed, and it's made out to you. Just fill out what you need. Only reason
I wish I could do that for my commissions.
I'm telling you, the only reason that happened is because I was honest with them. I didn't try to take advantage of them. I did good work for them at a great price, and they trusted me. I had keys, I had alarm codes to all their houses. Dude, they'd leave jewelry out, like their kids were home, like nothing ever happened because there was trust.
Pierre, that's very rare. So, I mean, when it comes to trust, every successful man has a strong woman behind them.
100%.
And
100%.
I know that you're in business with your wife, Trisha, right now.
Correct.
And she helped you with a lot of this. I mean, I can't give you all this credit
on
your own.
She kind of started it.
She started it.
She started it. She had the money to actually put into the business and to start the business. And
so the reasoning behind it, aside from the money, like, how did you go from an idea with Trish to a physical storefront, showroom, which is decked out to the nines? How did that all come to life?
So we got to...
And tell us a little bit about Trish. Like,
so after I got divorced, I was married for 15 years to like my high school sweetheart at the time. 3 beautiful kids. And
God bless them.
Thank you. And then we got divorced, and I met Trish shortly after, a couple years after that. Actually, I knew her because she worked in the kitchen industry, but just as an acquaintance, right?
Yep.
And so after my divorce, I started seeing her a little bit more, and then, you know, I asked her to date me, and she was like, no way. Like, She's like, no,
My wife
don't
said no to me like 10 times. Bro,
Yeah,
so.
but
the persistence
I
of
was
being
persistent,
Lebanese, buddy.
right? You're like,
Being
you go,
persistent.
go.
Us Lebanese guys, we don't take no for an answer,
I'm like,
brother.
that didn't mean no. That said maybe.
Maybe,
you know?
yep.
So
We don't know what no means.
so I wore her down. She finally says yes. I'll go on a date. And
Shout out Trish. Thank you. Best decision you
yeah.
ever made, girl.
oh my God, she's amazing. She really is, truly amazing. And she is what keeps this company like together and moving forward, because I'm a handful. Like when it comes to business and doing stuff by the book and whatever, I'm very bad at it. And she knows it. She keeps everything in order.
You're a visionary. You're a visionary. If you're
an
a visionary,
artist, I
an
want to
artist,
create, right?
You need different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
That's why my brother is, a good partner of mine. That's why we have the right people here.
Yep.
Around us. You have a great staff, which helps put it all
Our
together.
staff is incredible. I'm telling you, without them, we would honestly be nothing here.
And whose idea was it to do all this? Was it yours? Was it Trish's? Was it both you guys?
So we
Because when you started it, you didn't have this.
We had a 200 square foot area in a rug place in Newton, where I approached them because we had some friends that knew the owners. And I said, let me put a little display and let me sell some cabinets. I'll pay you whatever a month. And literally had like 3 little samples and a couple of doors. And we were there for like 6 months. And then I was like, oh man, I can't do this. I'm in a rug place. Like, just can't. And it's 200 square feet, like 2 people in there. We were on top of each other.
You and Trish.
Yeah, Trish and I. Honestly, I think it was the size of my office, right? And then like 6 months later, I found this woman who had a bigger store, like 4,500 square feet. And I approached her and I said, listen, I have this idea. Let me put in a couple of displays in here for free. I won't charge you anything, but don't charge me anything. And if I make a sale, I'll give you a commission from it for letting me be in your space. She was like, that's
What
great.
type of space was
I
it?
love it. It was, they sold, it was right down the street in Newton. They sold furniture and rugs.
Oh,
and
cool.
She
Okay.
did design work. And I said, this could be a good fit for us, right? So I did that for another 6 months. There I had maybe 500 square feet. And I go to work one day, door's locked. I'm like, what the heck? Call her, no answer, whatever. Landlord comes up to me. He goes, yeah, she's out. And I didn't ask why. I didn't want to know why. I said, let me come in. I'll just take my 2 displays out. And the guy at the time said, you know what? No, we have an idea. He said, how would you like to take the space over? And I'm like, bro, this is 4,500 square feet. I have 2 displays in here. I have no money, no business plan. Like, this wasn't
Is it
even...
Newton Kitchens and Designs at this point? Like, do you have the name?
We got the name, right, when we were in the little place. I found it, I registered it, right? And I was like, I just want to do it because we're in Newton. I want to be in Newton, right? So we ended up getting, the name and everything. And so I said to the landlord at the time, I said, no, I can't do it. It's way too much. He says, don't worry about it. We'll help you. We'll work something out. Couple months free rent, this and that. You work your way up, whatever. So Trish and I said, you know what? We had just gotten married. And I was like, we need some money, to do this. She said, I have a little bit of money put aside, whatever. I'll front the money. Let's do it. So we took this 4,500 square foot showroom in a plaza, 2 displays, and people would open the door. Are you guys open? Because there was nothing in there. It was empty. And just myself and Trish.
And you didn't have many clients at this point.
We had no clients. It was just walk-in traffic, right? I mean, some of my older clients from the renovations, but, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm like, come on in. What can we do for you? I'll help. Like, let me show you what I have. The 2 displays, a couple of samples, and I had pictures in a book.
From your past
From my
projects.
past projects. And then slowly over 2 years, we kind of started building that up and putting more displays. And then 7 years into that, we actually had to leave. And then we found this space here, which we'll
So you were
do
there
a little
for
while.
7 years.
6 years.
6 years.
6 years. And then we had to leave there. They didn't want to renew the lease. And we had to quickly find another place. We found this location, 6,500 square feet. Completely gutted it, renovated it.
It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. That's a crazy story, man. So your
Yeah.
the trajectory is just, it's really cool to understand it, to see it. First off, Trish, thank you for helping him and bringing
Every
this
day.
all to life. I know, he could be a handful. My wife would say the same thing. So shifting gears a little bit, you have a philosophy that you won't sketch a design
Right.
until you actually interview and meet the client
Correct.
inside their home.
Yep.
To just watch how they move, see what's important to them, understand their lifestyle,
Yeah.
their needs and wants. For an everyday homeowner listening today who wants to remodel, why do details like a 2-inch difference in sink depth or the placement of a prep sink completely change the longevity of a kitchen?
Oh, that's huge. That
like-
that one little detail
Yeah.
is very, very important.
Tell me.
So the depth of a sink. You wouldn't really think about this, but if you had like a 8-inch deep sink, right, on a 36-inch counter, and then all of a sudden they say, no, I want a deeper sink at 9 inches deep, right? You don't understand, you have to bend over 2 more inches to wash your dishes. That gives you backache. You don't want to do dishes in that sink anymore. And then you start having back problems.
And for someone
That-
who might be young and strong and fit now,
Yeah.
longevity wise, if you're building a home that's built to last and you
Yep.
plan on being there for 30 plus years,
Right.
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. That little detail will cause you so much agony down the road.
You might have
Or
to renovate again.
You would absolutely want to rent it, or you're going to spend a ton of money at a chiropractor or something, right? So, but even like just placing, like you said, a prep sink somewhere, right? We want to design where your appliances and where your sinks are, like your workstations in certain places, so you're not on top of each other, right? Everything has to have a zone on where you're working, especially if there's 2 or 3 or 4 people in a kitchen cooking, cleaning, prepping. You want to have their own areas so you're not on top of each other. Keeps everybody happy and friendly,
Yep.
right? So those little key,
I mean, listen,
things.
some people don't even love to cook, right? Some people are not
Right.
interested in the cooking
Yeah.
aspect of their everyday life. They might have a chef. They might want to
Yeah.
hide the kitchen. You'll cater to that.
we'll cater to
You'll
it.
block
Yeah.
it off. You'll put doors. You'll come up with an idea where it's like, it's a beautiful kitchen,
Yeah.
but every day they might gather there. But if they're
Right.
if they're hosting 3 nights a month, 4 nights
Yeah.
a month, they might not want to showcase their kitchen.
We've done a kitchen in a kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? So you have your showpiece kitchen, and then behind it through a door, sometimes the door is hidden, sometimes it's open.
Prep
Then you
kitchen.
have a working prep kitchen
Yep.
behind it.
With a
you know,
stove, with an
Yeah.
oven, with a
which
fridge.
is the workhorse.
The
right?
workhorse, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What has been one of your favorite unique custom design projects where you actually solve the problem for a client? I talk about, you know how to solve problems, you figure it out no matter what it takes, or where you've seen them in their space and come up with an idea for them
Yeah.
that they didn't really even think was possible.
So it's funny that you asked me this.
If that it makes sense, right?
It does make sense. So I have this a client in Weston,
Yep.
and they had just renovated their whole first floor. They did a kitchen, a bar, a pantry, living room, and she calls me and she goes, "I need your help," but she goes, "I just renovated my kitchen," and she goes, "I spent a shit ton of money on it."
Not with you.
Not with me, with somebody else. She goes, "I spent a shit ton of money on it, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on this project, and I have a problem with it, and I don't want to use those people." And I'm like,
How often do you hear that, bro?
I'm like, oh, great, I don't get the big job, right? But so I said, you know what?
The same concept of someone buying a home,
Yep.
overpaying for the home
Yeah.
because they either went direct or they bought it with an agent who didn't look out for their best interest
Yeah.
and value. They might have not opened up, the book with all the comps, and
Yeah.
they overpaid by 500 grand. But then they want to call us to
Right.
sell it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we overpaid. We don't want to use them anymore. But can you get us out of here?
Right. So
I'm like, ah.
very similar situation, right? So I said to the prospective client, I said, well, why don't you come to our showroom? Let me show you what we do. And then I'm happy to come out to the house, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to waste my time or theirs,
sure.
right? And she insisted, no, you have to come to my house because I want you to see what the issue is. And she goes, plus I already saw your stuff on your website. It looks great. And I says, oh man, I said, you know what? Okay. I said, I'm going to do what she's asking me because I'm a people pleaser, right? I want to please my clients. So I go out to the house. I see what they did. They did a beautiful job. I'm like, damn, I wish I did this project, right? So she brings me downstairs. I go, what's the problem? She goes, we need somewhere to put our wine, and all we have is this closet under the stairs. So how can you make it work for me? I said, well, let me measure it and take some pictures. I said, I'll get creative, and I'm going to get back to you in a week. So she says, okay. So I get back to her in about a week. I said, you know what? I have an idea. I said, I can make you a wine cellar underneath your staircase, and we can cool it. And I said, I want to take the door. I want to do a glass panel in it. I want to do built-ins on one side. Now remember, this staircase is 4 feet wide, and it's like 12 feet long, and it's angled. So you're basically walking in, one step in, and then you're reaching for the bottles. I mean, nothing.
But
like,
it's convenient.
It's convenient. It was a space. They didn't want to do a full-blown wine cellar.
And it wasn't being used for anything to begin with.
Right. So I came up with this idea, and I said, you're going to think I'm crazy. I said, I want to do the walls, the ceiling, and the floor all in cowhide. And she says, in what? I said, in cowhide. And I'll build you out of cedar, all the racks and stuff, right? And she just looks at me and she goes, I knew I found the right person. She goes,
wow, you took a risk right there, bro.
Right? And I said, do you want to see the samples and stuff? She goes, nope. She goes, I want you to surprise me. So 3 months later, I ended up doing a wine cellar in brindle cowhide on the floor, on the ceiling, on the walls. We put a mirror on one side, wrapped the door frame, wrapped the mirror frame in cowhide, the entire thing. You walk in, no shoes allowed. Everything was padded
I'm a
and
no
insulated.
shoes allowed in my house guy,
right?
too. But.
So I got a 300 and I think about 80 bottle storage in there, cooled. We drilled through the foundation. We put a cooling system in the garage for her. So George, after doing that project for her, now that was, I think at the time, this is like 5 years ago, it was like about an $85,000 project. Just paid, said no problem. After that, I did a bar for her right outside of it. After that, we did the gym. After that, we helped with the golf simulator room. After that, I built some furniture. Then I did the kitchen and the cabana for her. Then I did her primary bathroom suite over. And now they're looking to buy a new property and build a new house.
Oh, I have a guy for them. If they're looking to buy a new property,
yeah.
I get a good guy that can help them find a new house.
So that one client that came to me and said, I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I gave her the time, right? So that was something where I solved the problem for a client. Yep. And then look, it came back and paid over and over and over. And not on top of it, the best part of it is her and her husband and her daughters are amazing. I walk in their house.
They become family to you.
They're like, Pierre, come in, sit at the table with us, hang out on the couch.
That's why we love what we do, man.
Right?
Because these people, these clients turn to friends who then turn to family. And the trust is there. Yeah. And the relationship is something that you can never get back.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important.
And you can't put a price on that. You know what I mean?
No, you cannot. Speaking about walking through homes, I'm a real estate agent and run a big team. Someone like me or any other real estate agents walking through a home, what can we look out for our clients when builders or sellers are claiming luxury finishes? Like, what is something to look for? Like for me, if I can just tell you, like a couple little things I look for is I always feel the doors. I feel the cabinets. I always want to see is the cabinet, because there's a lot of spec houses these days, right? And a lot of garbage. You know what I mean? It's like, but there's a price for everything, right? Like, some people can spend $3 million, and this is what they're going to get, which is fine. It's good enough and it's nice, and the developers do a good job, some of them.
Sure.
Some of them just completely cut corners. But what I look for is the cabinetry all the way to the top of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Are there moldings around them?
Yeah.
Are the fridges paneled? Are
Right.
they all flush?
Yeah.
Like, is there any coming out, or are they completely symmetrical? One thing I always look for in a primary bath is the shower ceiling tiled.
Yeah. That's a big
Because
thing.
it's big, and then
Yeah.
like, where is the fan?
Right.
Like, is it right out? Even if it's tiled, where
Yeah.
is the fan? Because obviously you're not tiling the whole ceiling in the bathroom.
Right.
There's going to be some drywall. Where's the fan placed?
Yeah. It should be close to it.
Should
yeah.
be close to it still, because the steam will still come out.
Yep.
But the tiling of a ceiling on a shower is very important to me.
It
I
is.
tell clients, I point it out all the time. I like to look at the baseboards, the moldings, and just any other woodwork, other nice built-ins,
Yep.
and all that. But what is something you would recommend for us real estate agents as we walk through to look for?
I would say if you're looking at cabinetry, if the finish on the painted cabinets is cracking, you know, that's something where the quality of the finish is not that great, or the veneer under it is not that good. Do you know what a semi face frame is?
No, please tell me.
So you'll have a face frame on a cabinet, like a frame, and then a cabinet door sits on top of it. It doesn't cover the whole frame, but it doesn't sit inside of it like an inset. They call that a semi face frame. That's a very inexpensive, cheap cabinet, right? That's like a builder grade, bottom of the barrel type of cabinets.
Like you're buying that at Home Depot?
Home Depot, Lowe's, like, yep. If you see those, that was just run.
Run.
Yep. Because there's no fixing it. They're not that great. The box is half-inch construction.
So ask. So for me, right, like I know you, and once again, you get what you pay for, right?
You do.
You get what
Yeah.
you pay for. So if I'm walking through a house and I ask the builder,
Yep.
or I ask the seller, or the seller's agent, and so
Yep.
I'm representing a buyer here, right? Like
Sure.
I'm looking out for my buyer. I ask where are the cabinets from?
Yep.
They give me a name.
Yeah.
I call you.
Yep.
You'll be able to tell me it's okay.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be like, obviously it's not a $15 million home, Pierre. It's
Yeah.
not a $20 million home.
Yep.
Like, you'll be able to at least give me input, be like, that's okay.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the pros and cons
Okay.
on about that product.
Okay.
And not being biased to mine. Like
Exactly, because you can't, because
yeah.
you're in a different playing field. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like someone coming to me and saying they can spend $1.5 million to $2 million. I'm going to work with them.
Sure.
And I'm going to find the best possible home for a $1.5 to $2.5 million budget.
Yeah.
But I can't be like, oh, I don't like this house because there's no Venetian plaster.
Right.
Because I just sold a $12 million house with Venetian plaster.
Yeah. Yep.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, exactly. That's more aesthetic stuff, you know,
Correct.
for people to do
Yeah.
decorative.
Yeah.
The other thing I would look for is doors and drawers not having soft close on them, right? When you open and close them, or if the hardware is mounted on the sides, that's a very cheap kitchen cabinet,
Yeah.
right? And then I would look at like the gaps, if there's big gaps and stuff between the doors and drawers, if they're all crooked, you know, things like that means like after some wear and tear, they're just not holding up well. And like you said, if the appliances are not flush, if they're not paneled,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. And then maybe even asking like, what is the cabinet made of? You know, if it's melamine and it's in a, you know, 8, 9, 10, $12 million home, well, they went as cheap as they could go.
Yep.
They didn't do a plywood box, you know, they did a melamine
Like when you
box.
did my dry bar in my house, you
Yes.
guys were doing the wood outside. You were
Oh yeah,
literally-
we went all
you
out.
built
on
it out, and it's beautiful, and I love it. Like I said, my wife's very, very happy with it.
Thank you.
But you guys did everything custom.
Yeah.
And you know, some developers are doing that. Let's be like, some developers
some
are doing it.
Yeah.
Not everyone is.
Right.
But
I think more should be.
more should be.
More should be, because I will tell you, George, I'm not trying to sell my product, okay? But if developers put in better quality cabinetry, right, in the kitchen, in the primary, okay, they could actually, on the back end, ask more money for the house, and
course.
they will get it, and they'll make more of a profit. But every builder has this mentality of, I need to cut my prices. I need the cheapest thing I can get to try to make more money. But
That's the difference
buyers,
between a custom home and a spec
yeah,
home.
right. Buyers now are very smart,
Oh, believe me, I know.
right?
They talk to ChatGPT every day.
Yeah,
too.
and they know. And AI is
Oh,
like,
man.
bro,
It's crazy.
it is
It's
the
nuts. It's making
the,
our heart.
It's the future, and it's only this big. It's just starting.
Believe me, I know.
And it's
I
going
deal
to
with it
get
every day.
better and better and better. And so the buyer, the consumer, is going to have even more knowledge and more knowledge. And I think the developers, the spec developers and the middle of the road ones, should actually be upping their game with quality of products they put in the house.
I agree.
Because they will make more in the end, because the client is going to see it and they're going to be willing to pay for it. The other big thing about that is, look, I buy a house from a builder. In a year to 2 years, I have to replace my kitchen or something broke. And where are they? Their 1 year warranty is gone.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'd never use them again. That's an automatic bad review for that builder, right? That developer.
I asked for 2 years.
Right?
I asked for at least 2 years. But listen, when I'm buying, when I'm representing a buyer
Yep.
in a new construction house, this is what differentiates me from the rest of the 10,000 agents. We're number one for a reason, Pierre.
Yep.
Is I want to know who built the house. Joe Smith built the house.
Yep.
Great. Let me go look at Joe Smith's website.
Yep.
Let me go see what Joe Smith built. Let me go knock on the door
Yeah.
of Carol and Jack Connolly, who bought a Joe Smith house 5 years ago.
Sure.
You guys happy?
Yeah.
Great. Let me call somebody else.
Yep.
References.
You have to do your references.
If you're not doing the references, guess what? I lose my buyer.
Yeah.
Because my buyer becomes unhappy.
Yep. That's
And you
right.
know how many times I've had to go into my own pocket and
Yep.
fix something that it was a mistake from the developer that I just wanted them to be, and I wanted them to be happy.
Yeah.
I've just fixed it because I wanted to maintain that relationship. I've done it, but I've avoided that
Yeah.
because everything looks so beautiful sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah.
It looks so
Yeah.
beautiful the second you walk in. The
You have
cabinets,
blinders on. You're excited.
but they don't know the quality. I look at the windows. I look at the doors.
Yep.
I ask about the perimeter drainage system.
Yeah.
I'm asking the right questions.
Right.
And I'm making sure that they are putting their money where they need to. And it's easier for me to do that when I don't need to sell them a house to pay my bills anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm literally there for the long-term relationship.
Right.
But we get a couple minutes left.
Yep.
One or two quick questions, and I want you to, give us high-level answers here.
So real quick before that, our warranty on our cabinetry, as long as you own your house, we warranty it. Lifetime.
You guys would be crazy to not use this guy
Lifetime.
if he's offering a lifetime warranty.
Look,
That's crazy.
every now and then we go back. I went back to a job the other day that was done 4 years ago because they needed the drawers and doors adjusted. I went out, you get me, at your house adjusting it and shooting the shit and saying hi. And
I might,
you know what I mean?
I might just tell you I need adjustments so we can hang out, bro.
Of course.
So you can come by, open up a bottle of wine, and kick it. You've said before that good design can actually keep a family happy by removing daily friction.
Yes.
When you look at how a modern family lives, what are the layout choices that completely change the dynamic and make life easier as quick as possible?
All right. So everybody always says the pyramid, right? Very true. You should absolutely do it. But you can veer off a little bit because not everybody's kitchen or workspace is always designed in a pyramid that you can do it. But you want to dedicate workstations for what you're doing where people are not crossing over each other and bumping into each other. That's a huge thing, right?
it.
The other thing is in design is splitting up people's married couple, people living together, whatever.
Bathroom?
Same bathroom, same sex, not same sex, whatever. Separate bathrooms,
Separate toilets.
separate toilets.
Oh, I tell everyone all the
right?
time.
Separate toilets, separate shower. If you can do 2 separate bathrooms and 2 separate closets, okay? Let me tell you, man, your marriage, your relationship is just so much better. The friction is down here. The intimacy, the happiness is up here on another level.
You listening to this, guys? Come on.
On another level.
It's always on us. So we got to make these changes.
Man, I'll tell you, the other thing too, in a primary suite, if you have the funds and the space and you can do a primary, suite with, the separate closets, the bathroom, but also try to do a small little bar in there with like a coffee machine, a little refrigerator, a countertop. That way you can kind of hang in your primary suite. You can make a coffee, you can have a drink at night. You're not going upstairs, downstairs, whatever the case may be. And you're in your own little sanctuary.
You're trying to
with
sell
your
my
partner.
wife right now, aren't you?
Right?
You're trying to get to Jovi right now.
Come on, Jovi, let's sign up.
Let's do it, babe. One other thing too that I
Yes.
always tell, which I don't see enough of, which drives me crazy, is when you're going to the primary shower in a lot of these homes, I want to put the water on.
Yeah.
It gets a little cold in the winter here in New England.
Yes, sir.
Why is the handle
Way inside.
where I gotta get wet
Yeah.
and then come back in? Why can't it just be right outside the door where you can just
So
put it on?
it can be. It
Can be, but
it
they
can
don't
be.
do it because it's just a
Yeah.
little more work, a
So-
little more effort.
It's a little bit more effort. You have to get an extra
It's
part.
not a $10,000 adjustment.
Oh no. I mean, we're talking under $1,000 for a separate valve or a control valve. It's very easy. It's a little bit of plumbing when the walls are opened up, and it's something simple. But even to take it up another notch from that is running electric radiant heat into the shower floor, and if you have a bench seat, on the bench seat.
These are all little tips and tricks.
That's on another level.
These are all little tricks.
And these things are inexpensive to do.
Well, this has been amazing. We got to do another one of these because there's just so much more that we can talk about. But I like to end every episode by unlocking the legacy of our guest. So Pierre, looking back 30 to 40 years from now, hopefully 50 years from now, whatever it is, how do you want people to remember Pierre Matta in New In Kitchen Designs? What do you want your legacy to be?
Wow. Well,
The deep one, brother.
yeah, I would definitely want people to remember me by saying he was an honest person with us. He wanted to be helpful. He didn't take advantage of us. And their designs were creative, but also not typical. They pushed the boundaries, you know what I mean? And maybe the biggest one is, damn, he was well dressed.
You definitely are one of the best dressed I know. Can I add one more?
Yes, please.
That whatever he did, personally and professionally, it was built to last.
Yeah. I mean, it is. This is. Look, I've said this from day one when I started. My whole goal of this, okay, is to create something very unique and special, but I want to develop relationships for the long term. I don't want a score. I want long term. I want that client to become friends. I want to have a long-term relationship, and I just want to continue to do work for them and then for their kids.
I love that.
You know, that's what we're about.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us. Appreciate you, brother.